What is going on, guys? It is WrestleMania here, back with another video. Successful wrestlers are the ones that put bodies in seats, draw ratings on TV, and get people to watch pay-per-views. Here are 13 wrestlers that held the WWE World Championship at one time, but you may not know their run as champion caused low ratings and buy rates. Keep in mind that some of these wrestlers had successful reigns at some points in their career, but we're focusing on the times they didn't. Number 1. Sid Vicious. While Sid gets his fair share of ribbing for his penchant for disappearing to play softball, the big man looked menacing and had enough wrestling skills that you can't fault the WWF for trying him out as a monster heel champion. The WWF gave Psycho Sid 2 brief runs as WWF champion, including one where he main evented WrestleMania 13. Unfortunately for Sid, that Mania is considered a failure both in terms of ticket sales, the only Mania not to sell out, and buy rate, a mere 0.77 compared to the previous year's 1.2. Number 2. Diesel. Vince McMahon loves big men. We've speculated before his fixation dates back to Hulk Hogan and continues today. When Vinnie Mac signed Kevin Nash, he probably went through a couple of boxes of Kleenex and skin moisturizer as he thought of Big Daddy Cool wearing the WWF Championship. Unfortunately, despite considerable charisma, size and decent wrestling ability, Big Sexy's title reign jackknifed at pay-per-views, and his 358-day reign as WWF Champion is listed as the worst drawing of all time. While Nash would enjoy popularity and rating success in WCW just a year later, that didn't do anything for the WWF in 1995. Number 3. The Great Khali. The big man from India brought the potential for drawing in fans from a huge foreign market, so perhaps the WWE could be excused for giving him a shot with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Sadly, Khali had both the ring savvy and charisma of a cheese sandwich, and there was nothing the WWE could do to get him over. Having Khali win the title in a battle royal didn't get his title reign off to a good start, and even though the WWE gave him wins over Batista and Kane, they did nothing to hide his shortcomings. Of course, the ultimate test is ratings and pay-per-view buys, and here, Khali failed miserably. Number 4. Kevin Owens. Smarks can rave all day and all night about how great Kevin Owens is, but his reign as Universal Champion hasn't translated into ratings. Sure, Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens' 2016 team was funny in segments and exciting in the ring, but not enough to bump up ratings. Yes, Raw has steadily been going down in ratings for years, but you can be sure that Owens would be getting accolades for boosting ratings had they gone up. Number 5. Roman Reigns. This one is certainly a no-brainer for everyone except Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Roman Reigns' popularity was white hot a few years ago, but the WWE's failure to push him into the main event then cooled him off for the fans. Subsequent pushes have failed as the WWE has been trying too hard, creating a backlash from fans who routinely boo Reigns despite his babyface status. Reigns has held the WWE World Championship, but giving him the title for about 2 minutes at 2015 Survivor Series wasn't a start in the right direction, and his subsequent 2 reigns, one at 41 days and the other at 77, haven't seen any gains in business. Number 6. The Ultimate Warrior. The Ultimate Warrior seemed like the man to take the WWF to greater heights than even Hulk Hogan. Despite limited skills, the Warrior's physique and undeniable charisma, unexplainable too, saw him become a main eventer in no time at all. However, his reign as WWF champion flopped. One reason is his act didn't have the legs that Hogan's had. Another is that WWF didn't have good enough opponents for the Warrior, as he'd steamrolled over most of the WWF roster on his way to the top. A series with Rick Rude culminated in a dreadful steel cage match at 1990's SummerSlam. The Ultimate Warrior failed to match Hogan as a draw, leading to the WWF putting the belt on Sergeant Slaughter at 1991's Royal Rumble and pitting Hogan against Slaughter at WrestleMania 7. Number 7. Eddie Guerrero. By the time Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship, he was a much beloved superstar to both fans and his fellow wrestlers. Remarkably, his title win over Brock Lesnar at 2004's No Way Out didn't lead to success in terms of drawing well at pay-per-views. Whether it was a case of Guerrero not needing the title to get over or something else, his championship reign saw declining pay-per-view buy rates. The stress of not drawing and overall championship burden led to Guerrero asking Vince McMahon to take the belt off him, leading to our next failure. Number 8. JBL. John Bradshaw Layfield deserves credit for reinventing his gimmick as the beer and brawl loving member of the Acolyte Protection Agency and transforming into the Wall Street investment millionaire JBL. Going from a mid-card act to the main event was a stretch though, and even JBL won the belt in a wonky bull rope match and did his best as a heel champion. His efforts didn't pay off though, Despite a sustained push by the WWE, JBL would hold the belt for 280 days, but pay-per-view numbers and ratings declined further than they did with Eddie Guerrero as champion. Although JBL's numbers went up towards the second half of his reign, some attribute it to the fans anticipating John Cena's inevitable title win. Number 9. Chris Benoit. In hindsight, the Chris Benoit world title experiment got off to a shaky start, with the WWE inserting Shawn Michaels into Benoit's title shot against champion Triple H at WrestleMania 20 and the rematch at Backlash. Did this send the message to fans that Benoit wasn't good enough to main event in a one-on-one match? Whatever the reason, the pay-per-views with Benoit on top reportedly dropped by 50,000 buys every show, and his short reign ended 5 months later at SummerSlam when Randy Orton defeated him for the belt. Number 10. Seth Rollins. The Architect was popular during his run in the Shield with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Unfortunately for WWE, his reign as WWE World Champion has to be considered a failure in terms of TV ratings. After cashing in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania 31, Rollins held the WWE World Championship for 7 months, and ratings declined for 7 months. Number 11. Sheamus. The Celtic Warrior surprised fans when he won the WWE Championship just months after his Raw debut, but it had to be one of the flukiest wins in WWE history, with Sheamus winning the title in a tables match. Sheamus held the belt for just 3 months. His second title win at WrestleMania 28 proved to be a disappointing reign, including his fatal 4-way match at 2012's Over the Limit that scored a low buy rate. Even a win over the much maligned Roman Reigns did no better, as the Raw after Sheamus' win was one of the lowest rated non-holiday shows in 2 decades. Number 12. Bret Hart. Bret the Hitman Hart really stepped up to the plate when the WWF was dealing with the fallout from its steroid scandal and Vince McMahon's steroid trial. Hart's combination of technical wrestling and passable charisma gave the WWF a champion who could put on good matches without looking like an escapee from a mad scientist's lab. While Hart was a good draw for his 2 WWF championship runs, his 1995 reign was a dud. Of course, business in 1995 was downright terrible, and it's arguable that the WWF had no one capable of boosting business, even the much more charismatic Shawn Michaels. That leaves us with number 13, Shawn Michaels. Don't get us wrong, like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels was one of the few highlights of the new generation era. Like Bret Hart, not all of HBK's WWF Championship reigns were successful. After winning the gold at WrestleMania 12, Michaels helped the WWF Raw ratings for a few months against Nitro. Unfortunately, the summer of 1996 saw the birth of the NWO, and Michaels was helpless as WWF Champion, with Nitro beating Raw 84 weeks in a row. Michaels wasn't entirely to blame, but as WWF Champion, he was the standard bearer. Well guys, there you have it. 13 wrestlers who didn't draw at one point as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Be sure to support us on Patreon, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.